The inline lunge. Now for the inline lunge, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and measure the length of her lower leg. So we're going to have Janelle stand up straight, and we're just going to take our stick here. Now at home you probably don't have one of these, but you can just use a broomstick, it'll be just fine, and then you can just use a pen to make a mark. What we're looking for essentially is we're going to look at essentially where the bottom of the knee lines up with the stick. Okay, so for her it's going to be a 17. You can just go ahead and make a mark on your stick. And what we're going to do essentially is get her set up based on that 17. So for Janelle, on the tool that we have here, we've got the numbers 0 through, way up to 43. We don't need to worry about that. Okay, but you can easily set this up at home a couple of different ways. One, if you want to get more technical, you can go ahead and actually just get some masking tape and measure it out. Okay, that way you can do the exact position, and I'll show you the other way we can do it in just a minute. So we're going to put Janelle's right foot at 0, her left at 17. Okay. Now, typically we'll give the person the stick so they can use that as a cane. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the stick or the broomstick, and we're going to flip it over her back, and we're going to get her set up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the setup. We've got her left hand in the small of her back and the right hand kind of the nape of her neck. And what we're doing is we got her head connected to the pole, her shoulder blades, and her tailbone. Okay. Now what Janelle's going to do is she's actually going to go ahead and do an inline lunge. She's going to kneel down to the board and come back up. We'd have her do a couple of repetitions of that. Okay. Now Janelle does this quite well. So what we're looking for is, first of all, the ability to do that. If you simply cannot do that, you're going to score a 1. If you have pain when you do it, we're going to score a 0, and that's something we'll refer out, check with a physical therapist. Okay. Now, the difference between a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Okay. First and foremost, a 1 is just the ability to go down, touch, and come back up. It really doesn't matter how sloppy it is. Okay. So let's just quickly demonstrate where you can kind of maybe lean forward. It's not good. There's a disconnect between the pole, okay, but she's able to perform the motion at least. A 2, we have to maintain contact with the head, the shoulders, and the tailbone, and be able to go straight down. Knee is going to touch on the board. And this is simply a 2x6. Okay. For a 3, this pole would have to remain totally straight. In other words, and go straight down. Knee go straight down. There'd be no forward glide in her body at all. Let's take a look. Okay. That's pretty solid. Now, go ahead, you can pop off, Janelle. We're going to assess both sides. We don't need to do that for demonstration purposes. We're going to assess both sides, and we're going to look for, are they the same? If you have 2 different scores with all 2-sided body parts, okay, whenever there's 2, you're going to score with the lower. So if you have what we call an asymmetry, let's say she scored a 1 on one side and a 2 on the other side, well, then we are going to have an asymmetry. We're going to go with the lower of the 2 scores. Now, I did say I was going to show you another way to do this assessment. Kind of a homegrown way to do this would basically be essentially to get set up like so. Okay? So that knee is literally right behind the foot. I'm up tall. I've got a broomstick. Okay? So if the left knee is forward, then we're going to get set up like this. Can I pop right back up? Okay, so that's going to be kind of your homegrown way to do it. We don't need, to get fancy with actually measuring out the length of the leg and having a 2x6 on there. Okay, but that's going to be the inline lunge. You're going to measure both sides, and then you're going to look for, is there an asymmetry? Are they the same? And then if they are the same, are we looking at a 1, 2, or 3? And use that score to determine which exercises we're going to be clear for. That's the inline lunge.